Okay guys, today's video is going to be very densely packed with a lot of information. This information is stuff that helped me. It's analogies, it's metaphors, it's understanding of life that allows you to make proper decisions and bring an order that you desire to your life. The simple fact is that 99% of people don't understand what I'm about to explain in this video, and that's exactly why the 1% is the 1%. I highly recommend that you watch this video all the way through in the order that I have it. The way that I have it framed right now should be the best way for you to understand exactly what I'm talking about. That being said, lock in. This might change your life. The first thing I want to provide you is an analogy that helps you understand how the energy of decision and lack thereof function in our universe. When you make decisions in life, it creates order, an order of your own design. When you don't make decisions in life, chaos ensues. Think of chaos as cold and order as heat. Your decisions act as the friction that creates the heat. Your lack of decision represents lack of friction that brings upon the coldness of chaos. When you decide things in life, when you actually move, it creates friction and brings upon order. When you don't make decisions, chaos ensues and creates a cold, stagnant life that lacks growth. Don't think about this too scientifically, think about this more like spiritual physics. Cold represents confusion, fear, avoidance, and stagnation. Heat represents movement, purpose, creation, and growth. The same way that removing friction creates cold, removing decision creates chaos. In the same way that when you increase your friction, the heat rises, if you begin to decide, you begin to bring order. Undebatably one of the smartest men to ever exist, Nikola Tesla, once said, "If you want to discover the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration." This is exactly how you must look at your decisions. Every decision carries energy. When you don't decide things, your energy begins to leak and scatter. Your mind starts looping on what if, and your power drains into the noise of chaos. But when you do decide things, your energy begins to focus in one direction. It's more like a laser beam instead of a light bulb. The energy that comes with decision is enough to bend the reality around you. You may call this pseudoscience, but it works, and you can test it yourself. The moment a real decision is made, the energy in order to complete the task has already begun fabricating. The universe will rearrange itself to match your conviction. This is why hesitation and lack of movement is the real killer, not failure. Because hesitation lowers and freezes your energy, allowing low-level energy entities to enter your life. Let me put this into perspective for you. Most people live their lives at room temperature. This is the median level of life. We call this mediocrity. Some are completely cold, the ones lost in chaos. Their energy is drained by maintaining their negative state. They're not necessarily lazy or lacking potential, but they're frozen. The energy of their life force is being siphoned away by bad food, alcohol, cheap entertainment, and bad relationships. Keep in mind, those are just a few examples of what may be draining one's energy. These individuals have no warmth because they stopped generating it. Cold is not peace, it's decay. The same way that it still takes energy in order to make a fridge cold in a room temperature environment, these individuals use all of their energy to maintain their stagnant, cold, and fearful life. Now let's talk about the middle ground, the individuals who I consider lukewarm. These lukewarm individuals consuming most of the population are what most people would call mediocre. They're comfortable enough where they are, but anyone who looks at them knows that they're not fulfilling their full potential. Most people live here, and most people will stay here, and it's okay to be there, but there is a better side of life. You see, these people make decisions, they work, they survive, and they maybe even chase a goal every now and then, but they avoid the decisions that create real growth. They may move in some areas, but stay stagnant in others, and because of this, their energy never reaches its full potential. For them, the temperature of life is not cold enough for them to change, but not hot enough for them to thrive. They're okay with living their life at room temperature because they're not suffering, but they're not fully alive either. Then there are the ones who burn, the ones who move towards resistance. They make decisions quickly and act upon hard choices even when they don't feel ready. What this does is multiply their energy. because order creates efficiency. You see, people like this don't tolerate stillness. They don't hesitate in the face of fear, and they are alive in mind, body, and spirit. The difference between room temperature and hot is the difference between survival and creation. Now, I want to talk specifically about fear and bravery because this is where most people freeze. Most people fail to face their fears, and this is exactly why the 1% is the 1% and the 99% is the 99%. Imagine a tribe of early humans, maybe cavemen, migrating to a new hunting ground. They come across a saber-toothed tiger, a pack of wolves, or maybe even a dire bear. What do most of them do? They will panic, they'll cower, and they'll run. They let fear decide for them, and by doing nothing, they surrender to chaos. They become victims of their own indecision, and the environment around them chooses what to do with them. But in this tribe, there's a very small group of people, maybe even just one person, who decides not to run and not to cower in fear. They step forward and they fight. They channel every ounce of energy they have to face the threat head on. Those are the individuals who take control and change the outcome of the situation. They become the protectors, the leaders, the respected. They are the 1%. The 1% did not appear out of luck. They appeared because they decided when everyone else froze. They created order out of chaos. Now think about this in terms of energy. How much energy does it take to cower in fear in a corner? Absolutely none. Now how much energy does it take to stand tall, brave, and face the threat? A lot. And this is why you receive your benefit tenfold. Fortune favors the bold, not because of chance, but because energy rewards movement, not stagnation. So how do you become that person, the one who creates heat and order, not cold and chaos? You can't make a decision if you don't know what you want. Define what's creating chaos in your life and explain to yourself exactly what order you would like to bring. Use whatever method you would like to do. Write it down, put it in your notes app, I don't care. Define your chaos and specify what order you want. Because once you've identified the issue and the goal, you've already began to heat up your life. Now your next move, after clearing your mind and understanding what's actually going on in your life, you must decide. A true decision means you no longer reopen the file. When you make this decision, you eliminate every other possibility. This is where your power will begin to concentrate and the universe will begin to respond. Something that I would like to note at this portion of the video, if you make decisions that follow your purpose of love, creation, and service, the universe will respond much more effectively. The reason for that being is because love, creation, and service are our God-given purpose in this universe. If you want to hear more about why love, creation, and service are our purpose, I made a full video on it explaining exactly why I believe that to be true. Now, after you've made a proper decision, the next move is to move. Even the smallest movement will begin to lock in that energy. You see, decision acts as a conductor that turns your energy of heat into physical results. And remember that at any point during this journey, if you decide to lower your friction, the cold will begin to return. The universe doesn't reward hesitation, it rewards direction. When you begin to make these moves, you may see the universe begins to respond. This is when you start to feel as though God is watching and you begin to feel blessed. I'm not sure if you guys know, but I'm not affiliated with any specific religion, but I heavily believe that there is a God. The same way that I believe I am alive, and the same way that I believe that there is a universe. Now, the next thing you must understand when you go about making these decisions and investing energy into them is that you must trust the heat. You see, comfort in life may feel warm at the time, but it's actually a slow freeze. Real warmth, real self-confidence comes from friction, the challenges that you face in life. Running toward the fire instead of away from it is the exact energy input that you need in order to benefit. Don't think about this in a selfish manner. Think about this as growth. This growth will naturally make you a more valuable human being, and in return, your environment will give you value. This value will come in many fashions, so don't get caught up on what you get, just focus on the growth. Understand that fear chills you and bravery burns through you. You can feel it. The cold is death. Heat is life. Every time you move towards this heat, you put yourself back into the fire, like a blacksmith making his sword stronger and stronger. So if you truly want to live a fulfilled, warm, and ordered life, one that was created by your design, not the chaos of others, then you must become a furnace. A furnace that decides, creates, loves, and serves. Your decisions are a spark that keeps this furnace alive, not just to benefit yourself, but to bring warmth to the others around you. Remember the analogy of the caveman. Without that 1%, everyone else is consumed by chaos. I say this because if this information just reaches 100 people, then at least one of you must make the decision to become that 1%, not just for yourself, but for the 99 others around you. Remember, you get out what you put in. The energy you spend will be returned and it will be worth it. You should never expect warmth from the world if you refuse to generate it yourself. You can't expect order from chaos if you're afraid to choose one over the other. And you can't expect life to reward you if you never move through your fears. So the next time you're standing at the edge of a decision, remember this. The universe does not reward hesitation. It rewards heat. So stay warm, stay strong, and keep moving. Because decisions create order, and the lack always leads to chaos. Alright guys, first and foremost, congratulations on actually watching this entire video. I know it is not for the short attention span. I do try to get as much value in these as I can, but I'm not a fancy editor or anything like that. So I appreciate you guys watching it all the way through. And I know that if you did, it probably meant something to you. That being said, if you guys did enjoy the video, go ahead and leave a like. If you like content like this, go ahead and subscribe. And if you've got something to say, let me know. If this video had an impact on you, please, I would love to hear it. As a reminder, if you do want to know more about how I found my purpose of love, creation, and service, and why I believe that those three things will bring you more fulfillment in life, that video should be right here. God bless and good luck.